Buddhism is a world religion founded by the Buddha in ancient India. Buddhists seek wisdom, meaning, inner peace, and freedom from greed, hatred, and ignorance. Mutually sustaining life, a Buddhist call to a troubled world.
To utter pleasant words without practicing them is like a flower without fragrance.
Hello, and thanks for being with us for today's show. How did your week go? I hope that things were okay. However, even if things didn't go as expected, I hope you were able to apply the Buddhist teachings to the things that occur in your daily life. Remember, what is important is not what life presents us, but how we experience life. And how we experience our lives depends on the quality of wisdom we have cultivated within ourselves. This wisdom can also be expressed as understanding, view, or insight. There are many ways of cultivating wisdom within ourselves, but the most well-known is the Eightfold Noble Path. There are 8 ways that make up the Eightfold Noble Path, and you can think of them as representing each of the 8 spokes of the wheel of Dharma. They are right view, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. However, the 8 should not be seen as stages where each one is completed before moving on to the next. Instead, all 8 are practiced together as a unified set that complement and support each other. Also, the Noble Path is not so much a commandment as it is a set of self-imposed guidelines by those seeking to cultivate themselves. Each of the 8 is referred to as right, but they are not meant to be right as opposed to wrong in the moral sense. Instead, right is meant in the sense of being appropriate, in keeping with truth, which then helps a person to lessen suffering and experience joy. The 8 items of the Eightfold Path are often categorized into wisdom, conduct, and meditation. Right view and right thought constitute wisdom, while right speech, right action, and right livelihood make up conduct. And right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration constitute meditation. This division into wisdom, conduct, and meditation makes sense even when we see how these 3 categories are necessary in training for success in any endeavor or occupation in today's world, whether as athletes, teachers, office workers, or factory workers. Let's take the case of an athlete, say Tiger Woods. Yes, I know his talents and accomplishments are extraordinary, and you may feel that he would not be a good example. However, even he has to exercise these 3 categories in order to be at the top of his game. For example, he constantly studies and works on his form, whether it be his drives, approaches, or putts. Before any tournament, he studies the particular challenges of the course. And understanding is essential even for someone as exceptionally gifted as Tiger Woods. And this is analogous to the wisdom dimension of the Eightfold Path. At the same time, I'm sure that Tiger Woods requires a lifestyle that includes a healthy diet, ample sleeping time, and a satisfying relationship with his people. His relationships, for example, would suffer if he were to speak harshly to his family and lie to his business associates. He could not afford the disruptions and the upheavals in his personal life that would inevitably result from such behavior. So, proper conduct is necessary for a person to be physically fit and emotionally supported by others to do well in one's work, even Tiger Woods. This corresponds to the conduct dimension. The ability for golfers to concentrate on their game is very important. We have become accustomed to seeing Tiger Woods gaze intently on the ball and the hole. As he does so, thousands in the gallery look on, with millions more doing the same on television. While millions of eyes are on him, Tiger's eyes are on the ball and nothing else. And his ability to focus on the game is truly impressive. In a TV interview that I once saw, Tiger attributed his ability to concentrate partly on the values of his Thai mother, for whom Buddhist meditation was a vital part of her Thai heritage. In any event, the ability to focus and concentrate on one's work is essential for success, whether you are Tiger Woods or any person in any line of work. This corresponds to the meditation dimension. So, we can see the importance of cultivating the three categories or dimensions of wisdom, conduct, and meditation. The Buddha recognized this over 2,500 years ago and formulated his teaching into the Eightfold Noble Path. Now, let's take a look at each of the components of this path. Right view and right thought make up the wisdom dimension of the Eightfold Path. Right view refers to our understanding of the Four Noble Truths and other Buddhist principles, such as the Four Marks of Existence, which we have focused on over the course of this program series up to now. And right thought points to the intentions and aspirations with which we face the world and the way in which we see ourselves based on right view. Now, since we have devoted ample time during our previous shows to the two that make up the wisdom dimension, I won't dwell on them any further. Instead, I would like now to turn our attention to the conduct dimension of the Eightfold Noble Path. The conduct dimension of the Eightfold Noble Path is comprised of right speech, right action, and right livelihood. Let's begin with right speech. Right speech calls for us to refrain from four things: false speech, divisive speech, hurtful words, and idle chatter. False speech or lying is denied in virtually all religions, so it requires no detailed explanation. It is simply the act of saying something that is different from the facts or opposite of what is in your heart. Divisive speech includes slandering, backbiting, and talk that can lead to hatred and disunity among individuals or groups of people. Hurtful words include harsh, rude, malicious, and abusive language that is hurtful to others. Idle chatter refers to the act of talking about things that have very little value, such as gossip, which is based on hearsay and often talked about just to pass the time or to build a false sense of camaraderie in the spirit of self-righteousness. Buddhism has discouraged these four conducts because they are often carried out with a sense of greed, hatred, and ignorance. However, when we try to refrain from them, we can naturally choose words and cultivate a manner of speaking that is closer to truth and speak in ways that are more pleasant, considerate, and compassionate. Right action calls for us to refrain from killing, stealing, and sexual misconduct. Killing constitutes the act of taking a life, which includes human life, but also in Buddhism, it also includes animals, birds, fish, and other living creatures. This discouraged Buddhists to stay away from occupations, as we will discuss in a minute, which involve killing, such as trading in arms and weapons. Stealing is simply the act of taking what does not belong to you. this too is one of the widely held prohibitions found in virtually all religions. Sexual misconduct for monks and nuns mean prohibition of any kind of sexual activity since they have taken vows of celibacy. For lay people, it becomes a little more difficult in defining what constitutes misconduct among different cultures and with the passing of time. However, the best way for those of us living today to understand misconduct is to take it to mean any action that causes harm to others. For monks and nuns, right livelihood prohibits them from engaging in activities that are unbecoming of spiritual seekers. For lay Buddhists, it refers to adhering to actions or engaging in related occupations that do not go against basic Buddhist ethical values. One such value is refraining from killing, as I mentioned before. Such being the case, traditionally there have been occupations that are considered unsuitable. They include occupations that involve trading in arms and lethal weapons, as well as killing animals. Other unsuitable occupations are those that involve slavery, prostitution, and intoxicants. It's clear from this that Buddhism discouraged professions that bring harm to others. This is in line with a Buddhist position of strongly opposing any kind of war and aggressive acts, as reflected in Buddha's well-known words. Hatred is not overcome by hatred, but only by acts of non-hatred. So, Buddhism has always stressed the importance of putting our ideals into practice, as seen in today's opening passage. To utter pleasant words without practicing them is like a flower without fragrance. Maybe it can be said that by practicing, you will be smelling like a rose. In any event, by practicing the Eightfold Noble Path diligently, I cannot guarantee that you will become another Tiger Woods. However, I can say with confidence that your life and the lives of those around you will be better for it, and that you will probably start wearing some of his infectious smiles. In our next show, we will be visiting with a Korean Buddhist monk. Please join us and have a great week.
We at Bukkyo Dendo Kyokai pursue peace and happiness for people around the world. We have published the Buddhist teachings into 41 languages and donated our publication to hotels and other facilities in 55 countries. We would like to share the Buddhist teachings with people around the world. That's our mission. Visit our website for more information.